We're going to work on French knots now. This one scares a lot of beginners, but it's not too terrible once you learn the tricks. So we're going to come up through the place that you want the knot to be. You're going to take the working end of your thread, loop it around the needle 2 or 3 times. I prefer 3, but 2 might be easier when you're starting. So you're going to have this twirly. You're going to pull this not super tight, but tight enough that it stays a little bit neat. Do not go directly through the place you came out. You're going to go next to the place that you came out, like so. Pull this kind of tight at the base. I like to push my needle most of the way through, make sure this is still tight here, and then I'll take my hand and pull behind, and you have a nice, neat little knot that looks kind of like a flower. This one is used to fill in spaces to give a lot of texture. It is also used for flowers. If you vary the tension when you're putting this through, you can get a more squished looking French knot, which can give you a different style. But if you don't keep very good control over your tension while you're doing this knot, you could possibly end up with a rat's nest. So you do have to watch. So we're going to come through again. We're going to wrap our needle 3 times. And we're going to go in next to, but not into, the place we came out. We're going to push our needle most of the way through, keeping the tension. If you pull this too tight, it will be very difficult to pull the needle through. So you want to make sure that you're not pulling it so tight that you can't get the needle through, but tight enough that it looks neat. And you have a nice little knot again. Let's see if we can get a squished looking one. Once you learn the control that you need, it's actually a little more difficult to get the squished looking version. But in the beginning, you will probably be doing the squished looking version more. And that's okay. So you can see that one has a little bit more of a flower shape. Let's try again. When you do French knots, you're going to want to have more thread than you think you need. For some reason, tying a knot, it doesn't look like it should, but it uses a lot more thread than some of these other outline stitches that we've been doing. Okay, this one's going to come out a bit more loose and squished. You can kind of see that the diameter is a little bit bigger. So you just continue practicing. If you really want to get good at French knots, we're going to do a cluster right here. We're going to fill this whole space with French knots. And that'll get you good pretty quick. So I've pulled it a little bit too tight. That's exactly what I warned us all about. You can kind of massage the knot, and that'll get you through. Because the tension was a little off, you can kind of see that this one's a little bit more squished and flatter than some of these first ones that I did. That's perfectly okay. If you're using these to fill a space, eventually you will not notice an individual knot. But that's the French knot.